Hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about Unit 15 in the OL. The title of the unit is Technology. We'll be starting by the reading lesson, and before going through the reading lesson, we'll be starting some important vocabulary that will help us understand the lesson better. The first word is development. It's a noun which means the process in which someone or something grows or changes and becomes more advanced. For example, it's important to learn about the latest developments. The verb of development is develop, which means grow or change into a more advanced, larger, or stronger form. Then we have the word requirement. It's a noun which means something needed or necessary for something to be done or completed. For example, being tall is a requirement for playing basketball. And the verb is require, which means to need something or to make something necessary. For example, many jobs require you to know how to use social media. Then we've got social media or social networking sites, which are the websites and computer programs that allow people to communicate and share information on the internet using a computer or mobile phone, like the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp, etc. Then we've got the word advertisement or advertisement. The British way to say this word is advertisement, and the American way is advertisement. It means a picture, short film, song, etc. that tries to persuade people to buy a product or service, or a piece of text that tells people about a job, etc. For example, she scanned the job advertisements in the paper. And the verb is advertise, which means to tell people about something in the newspaper, TV, etc., to make it publicly known or to be sold. For example, we advertised our car in the local newspaper. Then we have the verb arrange, which means to make plans for something to happen. For example, the meeting has been arranged for Wednesday. And the noun is the word arrangement, which means a plan for how something will happen. For example, they had made all the arrangements for the party. Then we've got the word transfer. It's a verb which means move someone or something from a place to another. For example, we can use mobile phones to transfer money to or from a bank. Then we've got the word scam. Scam is a noun which means an illegal way of making money, usually by tricking people. For example, the police are warning of a repeated phone scam that targets taxpayers. Then we've got the word article, which means a piece of writing on a particular subject in a newspaper or magazine or on the internet. For example, there was an interesting article in the paper yesterday. Next, we have the word robber. It means someone who steals. And you might ask yourself about the difference between the verb rob and verb steal. Let me tell you. Verb rob can be followed by a place or a person. For example, the thieves have robbed a bank, or I was robbed in the bus yesterday. Verb steal is followed by an object stolen. For example, the robber stole the purse of that woman. Then we have the word privacy settings, which means the part of a social networking website, internet browser, piece of software, etc. that allows you to control who sees information about you. Let's go to the reading text. Let's try to read it first together and then try to answer some question on it. Take your time to read the text and then let's try to answer the questions together. In exercise 3, which of the words in red in the text mean the following? Number 1, the processes of becoming bigger, better, etc., which means developments. Number 2, tell people about something in newspapers, on TV, etc., which means, yes, advertise. Number 3, make plans for something to happen. It means arrange. Number 4, need or ask you to do something. It means require. Number 5, websites used by people to communicate. Yes, they are social media. And the last one is move someone or something from one place to another, which means transfer. Another exercise now. Complete the text using these words: require, social media, transfer. Let's read the text and try to complete it. I always read about the latest developments in technology. I often tell my friends about it on space. In some countries, you can space money to or from a bank. The banks space you to write a special number online before you can do this. The answer of number 2 is social media. Number 3 is transfer. And number 4 is require. Now let's go to the grammar part. The grammar lesson in this unit is about the second conditional. Let's start by studying the form of the second conditional. It consists of 2 clauses or sentences. The first clause we call if clause, which consists of if plus the past simple. The second clause or the result clause consists of would, might, could plus verb infinitive. For example, if I were taller, I'd be good at basketball. This means that I'm not tall enough to be good at basketball, and I just wish to be taller, which seems impossible or unlikely to happen. And this takes us to another point, which is the usage of this form. Number 1, we use this form for situations that are either impossible or which might not happen. For example, if we all loved each other, the world would be a better place to live in. Number 2, to give advice. For example, if I were you, I would have enough sleep. And we use this form to give advice. If I were you, I would plus verb infinitive and the complement of the sentence. There are some notes that you must remember while studying the second conditional. Number 1, we can use might instead of would. In the rewrite, you use might instead of would perhaps. Let's see how. If you learn Japanese, you would perhaps get a job in Tokyo. So we can here cancel would perhaps and write might. If you learn Japanese, you might get a good job in Tokyo. Number 2, we can use could instead of would be able to. As you can see here, could equals would be able to. Let's see how. If we went to the beach, we would be able to go swimming. It equals if we went to the beach, we could go swimming. So we cancelled would be able to and we wrote could. Let's do some practice on this rule. Number 1, Underline would, might, could, if and the two verbs in each sentence. In number 1, the word if is underlined. Didn't know is the verb in past simple but in negative. And the second clause or the result clause, might plus be or underlined. What about the second sentence? If somebody wanted to have the latest technology, they could buy a smartphone. We underline wanted, which is the verb in past simple, and could buy, could plus the verb infinitive y. And number 3, had, which is the past simple verb have, and in the result clause would be. Good. In exercise 2, complete these sentences with the correct form of the verb in brackets to make second conditionals. In number 1, we could go shopping if we had enough time. In number 2, if we all space each other, the word space a better place to live in. The answer is if we all loved, which is the past simple verb love, the word would be a better place to live in. Number 3, if I space very ill, I space to the doctor. So if I were or was, notice here that in the second conditional we can use were instead of was, except for the pronoun it. I would go to the doctor. Number 4, if you didn't know how to speak English, it might be difficult for you to travel to London. And number 5, his parents space him if he spaced them about the problem. His parents would help him if he told them about the problem. Notice here that we started by the result clause and then it's followed by if clause. So no problem to do this. His parents would help him if he told them about the problem. Notice that verb told is the past simple verb tell. Another exercise. Use the second conditional with would, might, or could. Write sentences in the second conditional with would, might, or could. And number 1, you're given what you say if you win prize, and a question mark, which means that this is a question. And the question is, what might you say if you won a prize? In number 2, if someone be unkind to you, you tell the teacher, and this is a question too. So the question is, if someone were unkind to you, would you tell the teacher? The third one, if I have money, I buy a laptop. Think of the sentence in second conditional. It is, if I had money, I would buy a laptop. And now let's go to the last part in the unit, which is the language functions. In this part, we'll be studying some ways of encouraging people to continue speaking. We have 5 ways to encourage someone to continue speaking. The first one is to say, great, what else did it say? Number 2, really? Go on. And number 3, how wonderful, tell me more. Number 4, then what happened? And number 5, what happened after that? These questions, phrases, or sentences can be useful in the dialogue question and in the situations question. Let's see how. Let's try together to answer the following question to complete this dialogue. Complete the dialogue. The dialogue is between Layla and Magda. Layla says, there's a story in the newspaper about a scam on social media. Magda says, tell me more. Layla says, a robber found out the name and address of a rich man. Magda says, space, after that? Layla says, he waited for the rich man to go away on business. Magda says, space, go on. Layla finally says he went to his house and tried to take his money, but the police caught him. Let's try to answer it. We have the words really and what happened. In number 2, the answer is what happened after that. Number 3, the answer is really? Go on. Another exercise. Write what would you say in each of the following situations. Number 1, a friend tells you that her brother is studying computer programming. Ask for more information. The answer is, how wonderful, tell me more. Number 2, your cousin said that she had a busy day yesterday. First, she went to the shops. You answer by saying, then what happened? And number 3, your friend reads only the first sentence of a long text message, then stops reading. The answer is, great, what else does it say? And these are some ways to encourage someone to continue speaking. Now let's do some practice in the workbook. Exercise 1. Look at the table and complete the sentences with the correct form of these words. We have the words develop, the verb, the noun development, advertise, the verb, the noun is advertisement, arrange is the verb and the noun is arrangement, require is the verb and the noun is requirement. For number 1, have you read about the latest development in computers? Number 2, there's an space in the newspaper for a new computer game. The answer is advertisement. Number 3, it is a space that all the manual workers wear boots. The answer is it's a requirement. Number 4, it's very expensive to space something on television. The answer is advertise. And number 5, the students have space to see the teacher after the class. And the answer is an arrangement. Good. Let's go to exercise 2. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C, or D. And number 1, we would go to England if we had friends or family there. Number 2, if Hassan spaced older, he could learn to drive a car. Now let's try to understand it. We have something missing in if clause, and we have the result clause complete here. So he could learn. Could plus infinitive, which is the second part of the rule of the second conditional. So we have to choose a verb in past simple. So if Hassan is, was, would be, or had been, the answer of course is was. Number 3, if I knew the answer to the question, I space you. Like number 2, we have the first part from the rule of the second conditional. If I knew, verb knew here is the past simple of verb know. So if I knew the answer to the question, I space you, we have to complete the form or the rule. I will tell, won't tell, or would tell. The answer of course is would tell. Number 4, if Hala speaks German, she might talk to the German tourists. The answers are spoke, speak, will speak, or had spoken. Of course, the correct answer is spoke. And number 5, if he read really carefully, he space understand the book. If he read, this is verb read, not read, because simply if it's in past simple, if it's in present simple here, it would be reads. But here, if he read really carefully, he space understand the book. Of course, the answer here would. That's all for today. Thank you for listening and understanding the video. See you in the next video.